All right, y'all. Finally, time for another update. It's mid-August right now, August 15th, and got a little break in my schedule to finally film a video. I've been a bit busy staying out of the sun, to be honest, and working at my cousin's welding shop, and just, yeah, more than anything, trying to stay out of this brutal heat that we've been experiencing this summer. Gonna do a quick, short little preface kind of explaining the context of this summer here in Southwest Florida. Yeah, it's been relatively dry and sunny compared to, last year. I'm just going to use last year as a reference. So it's been tricky to work outside and to stay out here for a prolonged amount of time and not have that afternoon shower, thunderstorm, cloudiness that is typical of our summers. So it's been quite a struggle, to be honest, for a lot of people, including me. But of course, the agroforestry system here is pretty resilient. So on the one hand, sorry for the noise, there's lawnmowers going on. On the one hand, it's a bummer that hasn't been that summer that we're all used to. All Floridians are kind of used to, But on the other hand, it's been a cool sort of visual display for me to see how resilient these systems really are, because we haven't had that, barrage of rain that we usually do and cloudy days that kind of keep the plants super happy. So these plants have definitely been feeling some stress, but at the same time, it's cool to see them still perform very well with no irrigation and a pretty dry freaking summer. So here's a little turmeric patch. I kind of simplified things and went more with just a lot of turmeric everywhere. This is usually my winter nursery area right outside the back porch. But I said, whatever. I really don't like working with pots in general, so the less pots for me, the better. So I just made it into a little turmeric patch this summer, and then of course in the wintertime I'll use it as a nursery again. But quick little thing, this is the newest kind of section that's closest to the house. You can see I have a row here, a row there, a row there. A lot of turmeric, a lot of just random support species, castor bean, moringa is coming up, cowpeas, pineapples, canistel seedlings. Just trying to get this area sort of just utilize this area. We've got nice Barbados cherries. They're all coming along pretty nicely. Thankfully, they started fruiting for the first time this year. We had a pretty serious stink bug population this year, so they were on all, I work around different clients in this area, and pretty much everything that's fruiting this time of year that's small and juicy, the stink bugs would flock to the fruit, and there'd be 1 or 2 to 3 stink bugs per fruit, and they would just suck the juices out and sort of wither the fruit away. So I'm not sure if this dry summer has something to do with their uptick of their population, but I definitely didn't experience any of that last year going to different people's houses. But yeah, here's a little row I made. I call it my propagation row. There's just a bunch of random plants that I want to use for later propagations. Here's a Gliricidia sepium, whatever. Quick stick in English, madreado in Honduran Spanish. People call it madre de cacao as well. It's a very fast-growing species that plants that you can plant from a cutting, and it takes very, very easily and used as a chop and drop and animal fodder kind of thing in tropics a lot. So was lucky enough to get my hands on a couple cuttings, so I want to propagate this out. More than anything, I want to see how it fares in our winters, because I know it's not very frost tolerant, so kind of experimenting to see if I can multiply it and just kind of see how it does as a pioneer species here in Southwest Florida. It might be too cold for it, but it's okay. A lot of This is a giant milkweed. Just kind of messing around with things that there's the sap that I had laying around. I kind of just wanted to occupy this space here. So I have a lot of cool things here just randomly. Things that I want to propagate. Like I said, there's this white flowering hibiscus. I'm not really sure what it is called. I think it might be a type of canaf, K-E-N-A-F. So these are super good. And more than anything, the vigor of this plant is awesome. I was astounded by this plant last year when it arrived on my property. A bird or somebody must have planted it, some bird. And it just took off. And it self-seeded everywhere. It seeded prolifically. So I wanted to spread these around the property because they're awesome plants. And if I got my stuff together, you know, online, I would love to sell these seeds and other seeds and cuttings. But technology is not really my strong suit, so we'll see if I ever get around to doing that. I don't know. I feel like people would be interested in some of these species that I have, that I've collected so far, and just a matter of getting around to it and not being tired at the end of the day. So yeah, this is the old sweet potato patch that is now a little turmeric leucaena patch. So when I planted the sweet potatoes last year, I kind of just planted a bunch of leucaena seeds with it, and now they're what is called the legacy. They're the thing that has persisted past the sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are still holding on, but you know, it's unfortunately a lot of these Tainung 64 sweet potatoes have succumbed to the sweet potato weevil. So it's here, it's in a couple of patches, and it's unfortunate, but that's South Florida for you. There's an abundance of all things, including insects. So pretty good ground cover. I'm curious to see what the harvest is going to look like. I'm going to start digging up once fall comes around and see what I can muster up and see if the actual tubers themselves are damaged. Because I'm not entirely sure of the damage that sweet potato weevils do. So I got to see for myself. But yeah, mainly more turmeric here. I've got some cool little trees here as well. Here's Imbe, Garcinia livingstonii. This is a rose apple, Syzygium. Another Garcinia livingstonii Imbe, and another one over here as well. So really hoping to get the Imbes up. I really want to experiment a lot more with that tree. Considering it seems like we may have to contend with more dry summers going forward, but you know, this is kind of my strategy is expect the worst but hope for the best. So I kind of plant things in my head as if I'm never ever going to experience rain ever again. Might be a little overboard and dramatic, but that's kind of the type of resilience I want to go for. Some more Barbados cherries. They're coming along nicely. More turmeric. A lot of these moringas. You know, keep them pruned back and use them for chop and drop, and use them for the growth hormone, the plant hormones. So every time they get pruned. Got some okras, but a lot of the sort of annuals stuff that I planted, either I think it's just getting shaded out, or the lack of rain has really stunted some of the okras and squash that I put in just randomly. So wasn't expecting much out of them because the system, as you can see, is starting to advance, and those kinds of things need a little bit more sun. Oh, check it out. So this Barbados cherry is starting to push out some fruit, and you can see the stink bugs. So they just like will infest one specific fruit and then just go to town on it. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. I'm not sure why there's a dramatic increase in their population this year, but yeah, they're definitely just wrecking every single Barbados cherry that I have. So a lot of the corymbias are starting to get up there, which is cool. guess I'll just go this way. Trying to make it quick. Unfortunately, that lawnmower is going full blast over there. Hopefully it's not too loud. SH3640 banana. Let me do this side so I'm not against the sun. Sterculia foetida, Corumbia, Suriname cherry, Barbados cherry, and just a line of a bunch of different things. China berry is starting to become a really good, nice favorite of mine as far as like emergent tree canopy. A lot of the native mahogany trees are starting to become, you know, stomach height, slower growers, but they're coming along. They handled the little frost we had pretty well too, so really excited and stoked for this. As I'm exploring more of woodworking, I'm excited that some of these trees are starting to grow. I hope to do little woodworking projects with these mahoganies down the line. Of course, the turmeric in the center is doing its thing. A little bit of burn on the tips, but nothing too serious. Really surprised that these turmerics are doing well considering the dryness that we've had, but you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to what you got going on down here, and we've got it going on, so you know that moisture is retained. Millipedes are working overtime, and things are able to withstand the dryness. Still very humid out, so you know, plants are up taking water throughout the night and things like that. So anado, achote, nice. Aki is leafing out, kind of not liking the no irrigation stuff and the colder winters, but it's you know, hanging on. A lot of Mexican petunias, I like using them as a little accent plant because they're just hard to kill, and I don't know, I just like their presence. So yeah, you can see the basic sort of outline. I've been keeping up with the chop and drop. Because it's been, well, I just like it when I've crammed everything in, and it's a important part of managing during the summer to keep things clear, so that our high humidity, low wind situation that we have during the summer, even though there's not much rain this summer, it's still hot and humid, and there's still chances of fungal stuff going on, and you know, I want to keep it nice and open. Soursop putting on growth, random chayos everywhere, of course the nopala's everywhere, and it's such an amazing plant, you know, really thriving in these drier conditions, really supporting the rest of the plants with their water storage capabilities. Here we got another little row of turmeric, some more Mexican petunias, got some dwarf Namwal bananas. The bananas are holding on too, thankfully. You know, that heat is helping a lot. They kind of get a little stunted during the winter because I don't water them. But shoot, they're all looking pretty good. Can't complain. It's gotten to the point where the millipedes are just like everywhere. They're just climbing on trees and things too. They're not afraid. Got a little insect activity down here. I think those might be termites. But yeah, our soil's looking excelente. Napier grass doing an amazing job building soil. Here's another look at native mahogany, Suitina mahogany. So that's the Caribbean one, and then the one that we're planting in Honduras is Suitina macrophylla, which is the big leaf mahogany. So you can see kind of the difference here of the turmeric. This is the one, this might have been one that I forgot to that I missed during harvest last year. So you can see how much bigger it is than the other ones that are. Same with that one over there. Yeah, random papayas, kind of left over from the frost. They always come back. So yeah, you can see this moringa is a big one. Nice thick moringa here. I've chopped it back Lord knows how many times, and this always comes back with lush green growth to help feed the system and feed me too. Here's some sort of annona, really nice. Took some frost damage, but it's come back full force. More mahogany, more beautiful turmeric, should be flowering sometime soon. Gumbo limbo, native trees. Always nice to incorporate more native trees. I definitely gotta put more gumbo limbo, and especially now that I've got nice little microclimate finally. Took 2.5 years, but we're starting to get it. I'm really interested to see what the frost will do this year, if we do have some, now that I have somewhat of a mini microclimate. Tons of turmeric, of course. Nice thick ones too. Gonna be a good harvest, hopefully. Hopefully the lack of water hasn't messed with their size. I really want some honkers this year. And they look healthy, but you know, I'm not sure if the lack of water will make them a little undersized, but it's all good. Tropical almond. I want to mess around with the wood of this tree when it gets older. Beautiful tree anyways. Of course, moringa everywhere. Nice little Roy Poinciana up there. I really like that Roy Poinciana. Of course, the pines are still up there. Got a male papaya. I always like to keep the males out for a couple of weeks, you know. I'll go ahead and probably chop that down later, but not now. A lot of these poinsettia kind of things are here, kind of just hanging out, which is really nice to see. They're really cool plants. More turmeric, and yeah, nice. Oh, let me get the sun out of the way. Pasang Ceylon bananas over there. Mangoes are starting to come up. Let's see if they survive this winter. I hope so I can finally start grafting onto them. Some avocados here and there. I've really been a bit lazy this year on expanding the food forest and like putting more seeds and stuff. Last year I was just like crazy. I wouldn't let one seed go to waste. Now I'm just like at the point where I'm like, look, there's enough at this food forest. I don't really need to cram any more in. Let me just focus on what's here. Nice star fruit here that got chomped on by the deer, but thankfully they stopped chomping at about this height. So I think I might be out of browse range for some of the deer. So, because they love star fruit leaves. So hopefully we're out of range, browse range. Hong Kong orchids randomly everywhere. So see if you could get a good little look at how things are coming along. Leucaenas everywhere as well. See it's starting to flower up there, starting to produce seed pods. I try to keep it as maintained as possible because I don't want these seed pods to be going everywhere. So it's usually a good sign for me to prune whenever the seed pods start to develop. So got some Saba bananas, which I really, really like. They're really huge. And they grow pretty well, you know. I don't water them, so pretty good to me. I guess this is the lower spot of the food forest, so they are getting that moisture. Every time it rains, it settles into this low spot. So I really like that. I think I want to use the Saba bananas to expand here in this craziness. A lot of muscadine grapes and a lot of these viney kind of things here. And I really do want to start expanding. And from what I've sort of noticed in the project in Honduras, it's really beneficial to have things like big old things like this that don't get lost in the sauce whenever you're trying to work with a crazy patch like this, you know, and don't have like a tiller or something. Napier grass as well is a good one. So eventually, but for now I got my hands full. I'm not trying to do too much. Had a little extra cardboard and this grass was getting a little out of hand, so I'm starting to utilize it for pathways. Got the cicadas going, which is cool to know that they're like here. You know, when I first got here and there was no food forest, the cicadas would only be back here, as you can hear now. And recently, you know, with the installment of the food forest and all this coverage, I've actually been able to even see them, you know, just walking around and seeing them. I really love cicadas and their hypnotic, you know, sound. It's really awesome. Just, you know, such a summer vibe. I just love cicadas. So yeah, really cool to hear them in my trees that are right here. Really loving the mahoganies again. They're coming up very good. Nice little turmeric patch, kind of just slap that together. A lot of bananas, a lot of support species trees, just trying to get that canopy up. You know, I'm not, like I said, I didn't really put forth much effort this year into trying to get cool trees. I just kept it chill, kept it simple. I'm just letting these emergent trees grow so that, you know, maybe by next year I can maybe think about putting in some more high value trees, because it's starting to get to the point where I'm getting that coverage that I want and need to support more finicky crops, like more you know, less frost tolerant crops. So we're getting there, but for now, you know, I'm happy with some simple things like bananas. I think this is a burro banana, but I'm not sure. This banana is not the most exceptional bunch, you know, right there. Obviously you can get way bigger bunches, but in my 2.5 years so far of the food forest, I have yet to harvest well, that's actually a lie, but I've yet to harvest a good quality bunch because the timing has been off. The frost will come and just throw everything off. You know, historically I've had some nice big fat bunches that would started to get ripened as winter would come in. So then once we get a little frost, that bunch is off the table, you know. So what I did was, when this banana patch got frosted back this winter, I usually just go ahead and chop down all the bananas and use them for biomass instead, because I feel like the banana bunch won't be worth it, just because I know it got knocked back and it won't be as strong delivering a fruit. But I figure that, you know, the system is rolling, it's fertile. The banana wasn't too old when it got frosted, so it still had a lot more leaves to push. And I let it, and this is the result. Yeah, it's not the greatest result, but it's better than nothing. So I think going forward, I don't need that banana biomass as much now, because things are just rolling. I'm starting to get biomass from, you know, the corymbias and all these support species. So the banana biomass was super necessary at the very beginning, but now I'm able to not be so dependent on it. So I'm gonna let some more bananas ripen after we get a frost damage. Yeah, more plants everywhere. Sweet potato ground cover, a lot of mosquitoes too, which is, I guess, good presence that there's moisture. Turmeric, for whatever reason, this part right here did not grow that great, so something might be going on here. But yeah, you can see it's really starting to take shape. Got a lot of interesting plants everywhere. That one died. This is actually a really cool plant, and I used it a lot when it was alive. Some sort of crotalaria, yeah. Pineapples everywhere. Trying to get more pineapples in the ground. Royal poincianas I've been really loving as well. Here's a June plum. Some mulberries as well. Really nice mulberries. Dwarf bananas. I'm not sure what type exactly. Katuk, Acrocarpus fraxinifolius, the shingle tree. Again, not a super frost resistant tree, but really cool tree, and I want to see if it can survive. Another starfruit here. Yeah, and a bunch of, you know how it goes. Super dense trees. Moringa, Leucaena, Sterculia foetida, mulberry. You know, this is the cold hardy guava, Psidium firmum. So excited to see what that'll do. Might need to open up some more sunlight for it. Another mulberry up top. I use a lot of mulberries this year. I really like how they integrate into the system. A lot of mountain soursops are coming up too, which is awesome. Super cool plants. Some of these cassava varieties I'm sort of just keeping. These really vigorous ones I want to keep for nice little ice cream bean that keeps dying every winter. I kind of want to keep these cassava varieties just as just to keep planting around. You know, I don't necessarily eat too much cassava just because, unfortunately, I kind of just let them go for too long and get a little busy, and I just don't take advantage of consuming cassava as much as I could. But it's all good, you know. My main objective here is to build soil and to have genetics for future plantings for my clients and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of the basic rundown. There's a lot, and you know, I'm sorry I didn't go too in depth. I'm sure there's a lot more. Wow, there's a lot of freaking insects everywhere. It's crazy to see the amount of what life that is arriving here. It just blows me away to see that they're responding so well. There's like an injured bird here, little like adolescent bird, and it's been using my food forest as a place to hide out or rehab itself. Every time I come here in the mornings, it like always spooks me because it's can't fly. It has something's wrong with it, and kind of just tucks itself away, and just really nice knowing that the wildlife is using it too. I always see deer pock marks and stuff in the mulch. Really nice China berry here. You can see how thick it is and just how much of a canopy it makes up there. Super into this tree right now. Takes the frost like a champ, and yeah, it's keeping these citrus somewhat alive. This is a Poncan tangerine, and got one right there. It's been looking like that for a month. I don't have high hopes for citrus, but man, it's crazy that they have this dark of green on their leaves. You know, most citrus, they just really do horribly, and this is doing bad, but it's not doing horrible. So for South Florida citrus, that's just a good sign, I guess, but we'll see. Mangoes, a lot of seedling mangoes. I still have dreams of having non-irrigated mangoes here, and enough canopy to shelter them each winter, but we're slowly but surely getting there. Sterculia foetidas are doing really well. You know, they died back in the past 2 winters, so even as just summertime plants, they're super cool, and I really love them. I really love the amount of biomass that they provide too. It's just really high quality biomass, and their growth habit is just so perfect. It's just really nice, you know. Nice presence, nice shade that they give too. So you can see this is probably underneath this China berry is probably my shadiest little spot. So that's about it. And of course, all the cabbage palms are thriving. They seem to really be responding to all this too. They're just flowering and fruiting super prolifically. And I don't know if I'm just biased because I'm out here every day and looking at these specific ones, but they just seem to never stop. It seems like they're, you know, they're pretty prolific in of themselves, like without any of this mulch and fertility. But man, do they pump. Every single one of them is just like constantly flowering. Like they can't even keep up with themselves. They're just like flowering and fruiting. So I think they're definitely responding to the system. And it's cool to see that even the native plants, even the pines, I feel like they grow faster and with healthier new shoots. But like I said, I could be biased because I'm out here all the time and seeing them grow and seeing them compared to the ones on the side of the road or at other people's properties. But either way, I'm sure they're feeling something. Shampoo ginger is starting to come online, which is nice. Like I said, oh, that's so good. If I get my crap together, I definitely want to start being able to sell a lot of this stuff online, because I've been able to amass quite a little collection. Got a nice little fungal action going on with the millipedes eating it. Oh yeah, show this. Oh, here's another Acrocarpus fraxinifolius. Really nice. It's starting to shoot its way up there. A lot of the leafcutter bees seems to be a big, like, I think they're mason bees that are making these. Super cool to see them interacting with all the different trees here and taking out chunks to build their nests. Really love seeing that. This is canep, mamoncillo, Spanish lime, whatever. I think that's what they call it in English. Doesn't like our winters, but hey, it's looking good. A lot of these trees are surprisingly looking good. I feel like they've gotten a good root, got some good roots under them, and I think they're able to sort of withstand the drier conditions in this summer. So here's another little shampoo ginger patch. So definitely something that I want to keep expanding. Random arrowroot here. Excuse me. As well. So we got some arrowroot too, which I want to continue to propagate. Really cool plant. Really digging the style of just planting things that do well in the summer and then naturally die back in the winter. Native firebush here as well. Yeah, that's it. Just experimenting with jackfruit always. I want them to survive. I know they probably won't, but I want them to. A lot of Suriname cherries as well, little random Suriname cherries. I think that's what this is. Either way, I did plant a lot of random Suriname cherries everywhere too, so they're all down here. As always, tons of mulch and tons of fertility. So I gotta go. Hopefully I can make some more videos now that I made this one. I feel like I can get back into the rhythm of it. Maybe make some shorter videos at the clients' properties and talking about little different things. I want to get back into the videos. It's been a brutal summer, and haven't felt the flow of the videos these past couple of months. But yeah, we'll see. Things are going good, thankfully. I don't know, it's working. Good to see. All right, y'all, peace.